What's going on, guys? Welcome to my first TradingView video update. So I wanted to take a look at Bitcoin real quick. I'll probably pump out a couple of charts, but we're going to start with Bitcoin, the big dog. So I'm currently on the FTX futures contract, perp futures. It doesn't have all the history, so we're just looking at this local piece right now. And many of you already know I've already counted this piece as an A, B, C down, WXY. I don't care too much which one it is. And we've got this trend line marking the top here. And this really, if you look at other exchanges, the wick was much higher here. And I think it's actually of note that the wick wasn't higher on FTX. Our breakout started here, which lines up pretty close with candle bodies on lower time frames of the other exchanges. So I had drawn this channel based on this pivot here, this pivot here, this pivot here, and this is the 50% line. And up here we have the 175% line of this channel. You can add the others like 150, 200. I'm not going to mess with it too much here. 1.5, 2. And you see we're already above the 150%. So that's comparable to 50% above the range, 50% of the range above it, 75% of the range above it. So technically, I could be tagging these spots the same, just like this. Perhaps we hit this as a crucial pivot. But I've marked out an area here where we found resistance, support, resistance, resistance, before tanking to the downside. Could that level again be of significance if we get up there? I definitely think it could. I do think there's even an argument that our top is already in. You can see if we put a block right here that we had a ton of price action, and this is where the launch was from right here. And many exchanges wicked into these areas on this move up. So we could already be grabbing that liquidity. But I am suggesting that based on this, we could be at a top now, or perhaps the 16th, a few days from now, or the 25th, another week or so of expansion upwards, just grabbing two basic fib channels. Now these don't provide actionable trades, but they do give you some geometric confluence on the chart, and it's something neat to look at for potential days where we could have pivots form. I want to show you real quick that the gold contract had a similar move up on a higher time frame right in here. So what I'm really suggesting is that we could be completing this type of A move, and behind it we would have an A of a lower degree. So this is A, B, C of a B wave. If you look at time frame, the A up took 217 days, where the A down behind it of lower degree moved significantly faster. So we would expect that to be the case if we do start an A down here. Now you see most of the time in the A down was spent in some kind of distribution type pattern. So we could look for this on Bitcoin to provide us entries. In fact, if you look at a lower time frame, you can see a small flat right here, like a 1, 2 with an ABC right here before this next move down starts. So that's something we could be watching for on Bitcoin as well. We did retrace 75% approximately, just shy of the 75% mark, but very close of this move. So if we go back to the Bitcoin perp and back to the daily chart and start talking about 75%, let's just assume for now that the top is in and we are no longer going higher. We could go as low as 72.81. If we went a little higher, right in here, or right in here, you're looking at 7,500 range if we're going to retrace that much. Note that my fib is on log scale and my chart is on log scale as well. So this move up, if it's going to move slower than the move down behind it, then we could be looking at a 30-day drop, approximately. Call it probably around 35 days. I had marked this level in particular because we found support there, broke through it again, and then found as resistance, and again support as a launch point for this move up. So I find that to be of relevance, but we could also head a little bit lower and still be valid in a V type scenario. It's hard to say if this move up is completed or not. If we go down to a little bit lower time frames and you start counting Elliott waves, it gets a little messy. I'm going to hide some of this. I don't know if I can do that. Oh yeah, here we go. Sorry, I didn't know where my tools were. And we don't need these anymore. We'll go ahead and mark down at the end here. Mid-March is approximately what I'm talking about for the end of the A wave down. To me, we have a clear impulse up right here, and we've got some sideways movement behind it. So for me, I label that A wave 1. And this A wave 2. We then continued up for a while. We didn't flip red on the 4-hour until right over here. So could this be a wave 3? I mean, possibly, but it doesn't look very good. To me, this is a clear impulse. What if this whole piece here is some kind of corrective wave? So some people might scrutinize my count there because we disagree on what corrective waves look like. Oh, my count disappeared. Sorry about that, guys. Just trying to get you a little more clarity here while we're looking at the chart. So here, when we turned red and then flipped back blue, to me, that signifies that we're starting a new wave. You see here, we flipped red and then went back blue. That's a new wave. So we could have 1, 2, 3. But does this look like 3 waves? It does to me. It does not look like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in any way, shape, or form. So for me, I could see this as a possible flat right here, A, B, C. And that gives us a 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd be working on a 5, and it's in a bit of a wedge here. It's not an ending diagonal necessarily, but it's been forming a bit of a wedge as it rises. If this wedge breaks down, then I do start looking for shorts. Any consolidation under this trend line is a short for me. And it will be a swing trade for me looking for this 8,000 range all the way down to 75-ish hundred. Additionally, I'm watching the trend line right here from this point to really this point here, and we can extend that to the right. Additionally, if we look at market structure, you have, turn the magnet back off, we've got a low down here, higher low, really you could consider this a higher low as well, higher low. For me, on the 8 and 4 hour at least, this is a higher low, and right now we're working on putting in either a higher low or we're working on breaking down, and it's not completely clear. If we take out this higher low, for me, I believe that we will continue down to at least the 50% level of this move up. So my minimum target, if we take out this low here, becomes 8,200. And it may not be a straight line down, but it should happen reasonably quick. So what if we continue up? Then look for rejection and then continuation down. This rejection is where you want to short. You don't want to short in here. We should have some consolidation near the top. Probably won't be quite as extensive as this, but you can see as we started making lower highs, it just accelerated. So these lower highs are where you're able to open shorts. And you can use the previous highs as entries, as stop losses, excuse me. Something like this. Maybe. All right, so I can't use that tool. All right, guys, that's really all I've got. I think I've covered just about my entire outlook right now. And unfortunately, it's a little bit of up or down, but we're at a point where we really are at a critical point in the market. So we have to be careful of what's to come. Be careful, make sure you're protected. If you have profits from down here, make sure you're protected from this type of drop, but you don't want to be so close that you miss out on this move up. I'm in a tiny long, but nothing significant at this time. We'll see you in the next video.